Get ready for another raw and unscripted episode of the Dr. Patrick Flynn Show. Ladies and gentlemen, it is another Tuesday here live in Green Bay at the corporate office in the studio, and I'm Ross Skorzewski, the host of the Dr. Patrick Flynn Show, once again joined by the one and only amazing Dr. Patrick Flynn, also known as the Hormone Whisperer, the man who can speak to your hormones better than anybody else on this planet. I've seen it, and it is absolutely amazing. And not to mention, ladies and gentlemen, this man is about to turn
27
tomorrow. So
yeah,
don't forget to give him happy birthday wishes on this show today. So how are you doing, brother?
Doing really well. Last year, the show was my birthday. Remember that?
Yes, it was.
It was kind of funny. So yes. I'll be 44 years old.
44.
44.
Is that like halfway point? Are we like just where we start to begin to call ourselves like
I'm living to 100.
Middle-aged?
I'm living to 100. You're saying? So it's like,
I don't like that term because, people like say, well, you're in your 40s, 44, 45, you're like, you're middle-aged. And I'm like, that just sounds absolutely horrible.
Well, actually, it's kind of funny. And we've said this. We get older every year. We have more fun. We're more energetic. We do more things because once again, we are in a constant growth plan. So it's kind of cool. So I love getting older. I really do.
We're like cheese and wine. We get better with age.
That's right. But if not taken care of well, you stink and you're rotten. Uh-oh. What we got there, Fancy Nancy?
We've got...
Start over.
From the
we
top.
Start from the top?
All right. Hi, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Ross Skorzewski, the host of the Dr. Patrick Flynn Show. And we are joined once again today by the one and only Dr. Patrick Flynn, the man, the myth, the legend, who can only speak to hormones like nobody else can on this planet. I've seen it. It's amazing. Doc, it's a beautiful day. I feel like deja vu.
Yeah, something just happened. I just felt like it. It must be because we're getting older.
We're getting older. Speaking of getting older, ladies and gentlemen, do me a favor and wish this man a happy birthday. Tomorrow, he turns 62.
Yes, I'm 68 years old right now. That's right.
Here.
I'm turning 69 tomorrow because of 68 right now. And yes, this is what happens.
Could you imagine?
We're going to be doing this show,
at 72. Hey, Dr. Patrick!
Well, you'll lose all your teeth. I'll still have mine. I'll have my pearly whites.
I'll be up here gumming it with you.
That's right.
I mean, give me a smoothie.
I say, give Ross the applesauce.
44 tomorrow.
44. Yes, it's kind of fun.
Middle-aged. I don't like that.
Well, like I said, we get better and we actually have more fun. We do more things than we ever did in our 30s.
True story.
We've actually had more fun in the last years in our 40s than we ever did in our 30s.
Yes.
By far.
And now we get to do it together, which is even more amazing.
Yes.
The cycle of crazy follows us wherever we go, the dynamic duo. Turning the world upside down, you know, one city at a time when we travel together and have a blast.
Well, like I said, and it just, everything gets better. Do you see?
Yes.
We're always on a constant pursuit of growing personally and everything like that. And then what happens is, I have more fun with my wife every year. I have more fun with you guys every year. Actually, we're all closer. It's a wonderful thing. It's like and what's planned is strategic and stuff like that. So it's not by chance.
Absolutely.
And stuff like that. And so as I get older, I actually get more focused and I have more fun.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
So,
hey, do me a favor real quick. Come here to the center and stand up. Show off that amazing new shirt that we have that is actually going to be giving, we're going to put it out there.
Yeah, we're going to give away a book and a T-shirt today.
And it says, "Us, We, Our Culture." That's how we've kind of defined the way that we do life inside of the Wellness Way organization. Right. We don't want anybody that comes into this
environment
to feel like an island.
Nope.
We're very much family oriented, so it's the us, we, our culture. And the beautiful thing is, I believe even the clients that come, the patients, they feel that.
Oh, sure you do.
And they're a part of it as well. So it's like the T-shirt that we had, I am the wellness way. It's just not a doctor. It's just not a staff member. It's anybody that comes in and does life within the wellness way paradigm. And that shirt is amazing.
Yeah, it's actually the team put it together.
Yes, they did.
They did.
Absolutely.
Renee and the team and Heather and all them did a great job with it. They said
it's beautiful.
That's the greatest thing. And that's the part I can honestly tell you. And so people, I had this question come across, and I know it's nothing about our show today,
right.
but I had this question come across, said, Doc, why are you such a big team person? It's simple, because I used to be the biggest selfish individual.
Sure.
Do you understand? I used to be the biggest selfish individual that said, screw everybody, I'm just going to keep on going.
It's all about me.
And so what happens is, and so what you try to do is you try to rise to the top of everything you do. And like when people say that, guess what, that it's lonely at the top. Well, if it's lonely on top of the mountain, then you're not a leader, you're a hiker. Yeah, you're going by yourself.
Good.
Do you understand?
Absolutely.
And so what happens is, so I said, and I used to be that way. Everything I did, I said, okay, listen, I'm going to throw it on my back and I'm just going to take off and I'm going to do it. And then if you want to come along for the ride, it's like, whoa. Actually, that's a very lonely place to live.
Yes.
Even if you have success. So as I've gotten older, now once again, and I think I learned that in my 20s. Do you understand? And so, and then that's why, for example, and then when that mental shift happened, and now at 44, what we've been able to accomplish, now we've been able to build a huge brand of amazing individuals that come on board. And we're selective.
Yeah, very much
We're
so.
selective that way. So yeah, so it's kind of fun. So I think getting older, I'm excited by the time that we're 50 years old, what we're going to accomplish as a team together.
That's only 6 years away.
I know, but
think about how much we can do in 6 years.
Guys, it doesn't matter what your age is right now. You could be sitting at a crappy job right now listening to the show. It doesn't, you say, well, it's too late for me. It's never too late.
No, never too late.
It's never too late. You know what I'm saying?
I hope not.
No, because it can always get better.
You never just arrive.
No.
You never pinnacle. And I think that's probably one of the biggest hurdles that people have to overcome if they feel like their best years are in their past, when they're thinking that, good grief, if only I coulda, shoulda, woulda, and you think your best years are back here, that's a really paralyzing mindset. No, you never pinnacle.
Nope, it's a bad place to be.
Yeah,
do you
it
understand?
really
Because what happens, it's a bad mindset. Because here's what happens: no matter what happens, anything can get better.
Yes,
or it can get worse too. It depends on you.
Yeah, it really does.
Do you understand? It depends on you. And so it's people tell me circumstances. I'm like, okay, people always say, Doc, you've had great success. Man, like I've always said, if I were to tell you about my successes, it'd take me a little time to do it. But if I actually told you about my failures, got a month.
Yeah, right.
Got a month. And the only thing that was different when I was an individual. When I was an individual, I hid all my failures. I hid all the things that were not going right in my life.
Sure.
I hid, for example, successes. What failures I had in business, what failures I had in marriage, what failures I had this. Now, as a team person, man, I tell everybody about every mistake in the world.
Sure.
Do you understand? And that's the great part. That's actually, and I don't want to call it maturity, because people say, well, as people get older, they get that way. No, we all know people that are getting older that suck.
Yeah.
I guarantee people that are in their 50s and 60s, you wouldn't watch your dog. Do you understand? It's because you love your dog. And you're like, I'm not leaving that freaking person with my dog. Do you understand?
Yeah.
It's like, and that's the truth. Mm-hmm. So just because age does not create getting better.
That's right.
Do you understand? Because there's just as dumb old people as there is. People make fun of millennials, once again, and millennials, but funny part is, my generation created millennials.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Generation X.
So I always say, if your child's a millennial and he's a head case, then the parents probably are a big head case too.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Absolutely.
So it's like just because of age doesn't do it that way. So excited for my birthday tomorrow.
Yeah,
celebrate with you guys.
Man. Absolutely.
And so I can celebrate my girls, celebrate my beautiful bride.
Well, actually, I won't be able to celebrate it with you, and I'm kind of bummed about that because tomorrow we take off for the biggest event that the Wellness Way hosts. It's called at Traverse City.
Yes.
It is our 2-day training seminar, and speaking about personal growth and development, we've got 2 days, 1 day, and this is what we love because, the doctors, if you are a part of a Wellness Way clinic around the United States, your doctors are coming to this, and they're going to be trained for personal growth and development as well as clinically.
Yes.
It's going to be an amazing 2-day event.
Oh, the speakers are absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And stuff. And it's great. These guys that will just train everybody at a high level, and it's going to be quite amazing.
You were just trying to hold my hand.
No, I was actually grabbing for my labs.
But because that was awkward.
My labs.
I just felt your hand go over the top. I'm like, whoa, hold up here, buddy. I know we're brothers, but
I was grabbing for my labs. It wouldn't be the first time I've ever touched your hand,
All right.
Team back there just dying. laughing.
I know,
They're like,
right? Shaking their head.
oh.
Hey, let's get on point here with today's show.
Oh, it's going to be a tough one.
It is going to be a
It's
tough
going to be
one.
a tough one because there's going to be some fat college kids that aren't going to like what I have to say today.
Well, but that's okay because I think this is a topic that needs to be addressed. And actually, we have one of our docs here at the corporate office who is very passionate about this topic.
Yes,
because
that's why I bring it up.
He comes from a history of dealing with weight.
Yep.
And he's gone through a great transformation, as actually speaks all around the United States on this very topic. But we're talking right now about the freshman 15. So let's dive into it, shall
Yes.
we? It's more than just weight gain. We see college weight gain in the first year on the increase more than others.
Yes.
With this on the increase, what are the contributing factors to this? And what does this mean for students as they head back to college? I like this. I think
Well,
there's a lot of contributing factors, to be honest with
It's
you.
no different than what happens is it was a show or two ago, we talked about the, kids going back to school about vaccines.
Vaccination, yep.
Well, let's go with this. So what happens is you can actually have a young man or young woman. This is young man. I actually pull those labs because I know the family quite well.
Yep.
And stuff. And people always have excuses. Let me tell you right now, everybody has an excuse for everything why something went wrong. But every excuse can be done. So, for example, this happens all the time. Well, doc, we're going to college. We can't really eat healthy because of, this and another thing that way. And because of finances and stuff like that. So let's do this. So we had a family. Once again, I took care of them since they were young and then took off to college. Well, then what happens, they leave the family where mom did everything for them. Great mom, made sure they're always on track that way. Young man goes off to college. Guess what happens? Through the college.
Gain some weight.
Starts to gain weight like crazy. And the biggest excuse is, well, the college campus food and stuff like that. Guys, listen, and they're like, well, because it's counted with our tuition, all that BS, okay?
Yep.
Because then all of a sudden it comes to around February, March, and lo and behold, he had really no other symptoms besides gaining weight. Okay, and he gained a bunch of weight. I think he gained like 30 pounds.
Wow.
And all blame on,
That's
the
substantial.
school and so. Not really. My goodness, kids today.
From August until February?
No, that's common.
30
it's
pounds?
so common. Actually, I'm not joking. Walk around a campus. Most kids are fat nowadays.
Wow.
They are. It's horrible. Do you know what I'm saying? And so what happened, no joke, when even I went to university down there, Alabama down there, when I went to spoke at that event, hormone, you can see it, you can see my past show that way,
Yep.
or I was there, and I was in that thing. Man, just even walking around campus, I'm like going, my goodness, you know what I'm saying? It's like, and the funny part was, so all of a sudden, he comes in, I'm like, listen, the weight is actually just a symptom. The weight is just a symptom. Internally, there's some health things going on. So once again, we just do some labs. So I want to show you this. Here's the funny thing is this. So we sent out for labs and stuff like that. And obviously, they were done at the hospital. They were done at Bellin, okay, one of the local hospitals here.
Sure.
And the funny part is, one of the major markers that we actually test for it, especially weight gain, is inflammation. That's why everything in the wellness way, you can
It's
always come back to
all
about the
about
inflammation.
inflammation,
But
yes.
what causes it and stuff like that. So their inflammation marker, you don't want to be above 0.1, okay? Because anything above 0.1 is a cardiovascular risk. You get above 2, it's really bad. You get above 3, it's crazy. And well, anyways, they had the lab done at Bellin. It came back at 2.9, okay? On a range that you want to be above. You don't want to be above. There's no low. You want to be 0. But you get above a 0.1, or excuse me, get above a 1, it's getting bad. Well, you're at 2.9. He's at very
Almost
high.
3.
It's really funny because even talk
Knocking on
about it this way.
that
High cardiovascular risk to the point when the labs are done, the lab reached out to the parents.
Really?
Yeah. Because once again, it was done, he's still living at home that way, and he's a teenager and everything. It was kind of interesting because what happened is like, and then it freaks him out. Well, yes, because then all of a sudden when they go to labs, then they start to do this and all the cardiovascular risks. It's a teenager. See, that's why when people say, well, doc, now one thing, the reason why people die today is actually what? Is actually a cardiovascular problem, okay? Cardiovascular problem. Well, the cool thing about the cardiovascular problem is this, is they start early in life. You may not notice anything for 20, 30 years, and all of a sudden, Charlie drops out of a heart attack,
Right.
but never had a symptom.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Never had a
Where
symptom.
did that come from? Or it must have been genetic.
Yes. Well, genetic from your bad habits.
Yes.
This whole idea, for example, like I said, that's why I kind of laugh about it that way. Well, the cool thing was, once again, though, so what drives them? Fear. I didn't try to fear them.
Sure.
They just looked up the labs themselves. But here's the
Right.
funny part is this. Now, no joke. So, of course, then we started taking care of him, why he was ending college that way, changed everything. And, of course, his new lab comes in that he just had done on 7/30. Nancy, you want to pop that up there? 7:30. Of course, it goes down to 0.6. And now
That's
the
huge.
fear drops.
Right.
It drops dramatically, okay? Now, here's the funny part is this. But here's one thing. When people say, well, doc, it's inconvenient. It's this, and this, going to college and trying to get your own refrigerator, do your own foods. What was more inconvenient than those parents spending a couple $1,000s here? Yeah, that's right. Let me say it again. The parents had to spend money, a bunch of money.
Sure.
Now, are they ecstatic that the labs, everything went back normal and changes? Yes, he lost weight, everything like that. But here's what happens. They just spent thousands of dollars. Well, I'm happy for that. Thank God. I actually got to golf more because of it. Now, you guys know I make jokes like that all the time,
right.
but really, it's really serious. It's really true.
Yeah.
You're paying me to get you not to do the bad things. You're paying our offices all over the country that way. See, that's why the whole idea of the excuse of it this way drives me absolutely nuts. Like, why is there an excuse? Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, no, listen, I understand. I didn't say it was easy. Heck, no joke. You think it's easy? Go to any grocery store. 95% of the stuff at the grocery store is bad. Right. So even to live locally and go someplace that way, and if you really want to make it cost effective, you can't just go to a grocery store. You got to find local farmers, everything. Otherwise, you're paying through a nose because grocery stores jack up all their organic prices.
Right.
Do you see?
How many of these students that go out, I mean, really, if you think about the freshman year, going even into sophomore year, coming out of their home where a lot of these, students probably have their meals made for them and probably don't even really know what to even do for themselves. So fast food that's convenient, made by the college system, and all that, I think it's just also kind of adding and contributing to the problem for these kind of numbers and that weight gain being put on because they don't know what to do.
Right. Well,
money,
they don't.
like you said, finances. They don't know what to do, and hey, whatever is easy.
Right, and on top of it, the young man never knew that he was creating a cardiovascular risk at such a young age.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Now, the funny part is, now having the high CRP like that, the marker C-reactive protein is a very good, and this was the high sensitivity one, so it actually affects the heart.
We're talking about inflammation.
Inflammation, but the idea is this, but see, he had no cardiovascular symptoms. I guarantee he probably wouldn't even have had cardiovascular symptoms for the next 10 years.
Sure.
But he would actually develop some other things. Weight was just a symptom of it that way. And so, no, once again, CRP wasn't the only marker we did. So when Dr. Jason goes around and speaks about weight loss and things like that in the labs that we do, this is just one marker. There was a bunch of pages that people didn't see. I'm just using that inflammatory marker because it's very easy to get done that way and very easy to see the changes that happen there.
I think it's great. To be here, I don't know, kind of just got tongue-tied there for a second because what you're talking about here is once again being, proactive, thinking ahead and not letting 10, 20, 30 years go by, not letting the excuse of old genetics. So my grandfather had heart disease or my father had heart disease, but you're actually trying to get people to dial in and to be a little bit more forward thinking with how they take care of themselves.
Well, not only forward thinking, but man, it's really funny. Get this. I always tell people, do you understand right now, let's say you're a 20-year-old watching a show, or let's say you're even a 30-year-old. Think about this. There's a 65-year-old person depending on you 30 years later. You better take care of yourself.
That's good. That's
do you see
really
what I'm saying?
Good. Yeah.
Because
absolutely.
even with modern technology, do you understand this? We all know somebody that has been sick since they're in their 20s. But modern medicine has been able to do things that keep us alive for a long time.
You said it creates longevity.
It creates longevity.
Right.
It really does. Medicine, actually, drugs create longevity.
But not a better quality of life.
Oh, well, I don't even like the word better quality of life. I'm just talking about living. Do you know how many people don't do things because they're too tired or they're too fatigued or things like that way?
Sure.
So what happens is, the sad part is this. Do you understand right now, guys, you might be 30 years old. There's a 65-year-old depends on you. And I'm not talking about your mom or your dad. I'm talking about you 35 years from now.
Sure.
There's a 70-year-old guy that depends on me. And it's not for 26 years that I get to meet him. You know what I'm saying? And
That's
so you
really
better be ready
good.
for that.
That's good. I like that. So a 70-year-old man that's going to depend on you right now. So which actually you're saying is people, even though they're not experiencing symptoms, it's not a bad idea for them to go and begin testing to see what is going on the inside. So
unless you're new to the show, you better have been getting tested. Do you understand? Honestly. Because if you're just liking because we're entertaining and absolutely drop dead handsome, you're saying, I understand watching a show for that reason, okay?
Yes.
But that's not the purpose for the show.
Sure.
You're saying the purpose for the show, I mean, I guarantee there's some people still mad about this show that I said fat college students and there's a bunch of kids are fat all the time. You're saying they're more offended by that.
Feelings.
Well, they're more offended by that than actually these kids and actually which turn into adults, which turn into high demand for healthcare, which turns on people. I'm serious about this. I think of it this way. I was walking around that campus at Alabama and I'm going, holy mackerel, you guys need to change this, but they're the same kids that want somebody else to pay for their health care. Do you understand? I'm not paying for your healthcare when you treat your body like that.
Right.
Because you're going to cost more on healthcare than I am.
Yeah, we did a show about that
Yeah.
months back where you were talking about that gentleman who was at, the checkout, and very large gentleman, but what do you have? Doritos, soda, and all this other stuff, and you're just sitting there thinking, good grief.
Well, I'm saying...
And I'm going to have to pay for this.
Boy.
He's kind of, a cardiac issue, and...
Yeah. Well, I said I'd rather give him money for a treadmill than for healthcare.
Yes.
See what I'm saying? Because why? Get his butt moving. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. So it's like, yeah. So I said so when you see that, guys, is as parents, you understand you're setting that student up. Like I said, you're right. I understand. College campuses, a lot of them suck for foods. They're horrible. That's like, well, here, let me teach you guys something. We've been getting a lot of questions about the vaccine issue with students, kids going back to school, kids going to college, kids going all these things that way, foods. Guys, listen, it's very simple. Don't contribute to government programs. If you don't like the foods in schools, don't go to public schools.
Right.
Honestly.
Or pack their own lunch.
Or pack their own lunches that way.
Yes.
Do you see what I'm saying? There's great things that you can do. Technology has made college, almost showing up at college, kind of exempt. In the future, I can tell you right now, there won't be campuses.
Right.
Do you know why? Because the cost is going to be ridiculous. You'll be able to do it online for 10 times cheaper. Do you understand?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and most people shouldn't go to college anyways, to tell you the truth. He said, unless you're
Waste of money.
waste of money and stuff like that. But anyways, that's a whole other topic.
Yes, it is.
So the idea, but think about it this way. If you really think about it this way, the convenience factor has to stop being an excuse. Because you want something? It wasn't convenient for this parents to throw out thousands of dollars for this child to get back to normal.
Right.
Young adult.
Yes.
Do you see him? Now for the young adult, here's what happens. Here's where I kind of, would like to see. I would actually make the young adult pay for this himself and get a reality check of life.
A little skin in the game.
Yes.
Yes.
Because he did change it. He did stuff like this. But guess what happens? He's going to leave for college in about a week.
And he'll start it all over again.
He might start all over again. Do you know what I'm saying? And if he does, if mom and dad aren't there to pick up the bill, it might be a little different story for him next time.
Right. Exactly.
So,
well,
yes.
yeah, be proactive. Get out there and get tested, even though you're not exhibiting any symptoms, because find out what's going on the inside. You could actually begin to put into motion a path towards health like you've never experienced before. And I love what you said. Honestly, you're a 44 that has a 70-year-old that's depending on you.
Yep.
I love that. Nancy, you got to write that down. I think that's great. We should create a little image of an old Patrick.
I'd look exactly the same. I will look exactly the same right now.
This man is depending on you.
That's right.
26 years from now. Think about that. 26 years.
I know.
From tomorrow.
But if you think about it this way, the average lifespan in the United States, with the exception of some major accident that way, is just around, in the 70s that way.
Yeah.
So think about this. If you're 30 right now, your chance to live in the 70s is very high. That person depends on you.
Yes.
Do you see what I'm saying? It's a mindset. But see, most people can't get by thinking beyond one day.
Yep.
That's like people say, Doc, the
Live
success
in the
you've had,
moment.
the success that you have in business and things like that, yeah, guess what? I planned it out years before and I worked on it consistently. There's things that I did this morning that won't even benefit me till a year down the road.
That's good.
When I do my morning
really
prep
good.
that way, there's things that happen from every aspect that way.
Yes.
Till years down the road. You're telling me the business things you chose to and put in place this morning, we won't even see any benefit for till years down the road. And I'm not guaranteed tomorrow. Nobody's guaranteed. I get hit by a car today, but it doesn't matter. Everything that we do is long-term thinking.
Well, I think that's, one of the things to that is I think people have a hard time investing in something that they're not going to see a return on for, months or years down the road, because we become so acclimated to having a now time gratification. I want it now. I want it now. And
Yep.
so they don't think that way anymore. They're not, like you said, that forward thinking, eyes on the horizon,
Yep.
planning for years to come. And I think that's when it comes to healthcare.
Yep.
We have the problems that we have.
There's a difference between being emotional and actually, sensible. Do you understand? Your most emotional, dramatic people make very short-term choices. They do. Do you
Sure.
understand?
Yep.
And so what they do is, people say, well, Doc, you're emotional. I'm very emotional, but I've also trained myself to actually not make those major emotional decisions that lead to that long-term
Very
destruction.
reactionary.
Yep.
And they get caught up in that, and it's just from one reaction to the next
Yep.
reaction to the next reaction.
Well, and they're always putting
Gratification.
out fires.
Yes, absolutely.
Always putting out fires, one after fire after the other, and actually in all areas of life.
Yep.
Not just healthcare. You understand? Their
Yeah.
finances, everything.
Speaking of, healthcare and
Yep.
someone who's very passionate. We just mentioned his name a little bit ago, and this is a great thing because really right now the message of the Wellness Way, the docs who are very passionate about certain areas, even like Dr. Jason Nobles and
Yep.
weight loss, he's being asked to go out and speak all over the country to
Yep.
share this message. Dr. Greg Abbott, who talks about what?
Cardiovascular.
Cardiovascular is being asked to go out, and this is what's happening all across the United States. Is our doctors are very passionate about seeing people get the information that they're looking for, and it's great. I love to see
Yeah.
not just you, but all of them are getting this platform to spread the message.
Yeah, and on top of it, here's what happens. Each one of our doctors in each office actually do local talks on a regular basis.
Yes, the
so if you're
information talk.
if you're watching this and you have a local doc by you,
Yes.
bring them into your company that way.
Yeah,
they will
they'll
do
do
it
a
for
10-minute
free.
talk.
They'll do it for free.
Yeah.
They'll come in there and they'll come speak to you that way and train. That's why even if you're around the Green Bay area, guess what? We have amazing docs who'll come and do it that
You
way.
bet.
Okay. Now, which kind of leads, because it's kind of funny. You got a funny email about a podcast the other day.
Yes. Someone reached out.
And I got something else today. I didn't even show you. I got it right here, but you go first.
Yeah, there was an individual that reached out to you, and I think she was a little skeptical as
Yep.
to whether or not you would actually want to be on her podcast because we see now that someone who's a CEO and a founder of an organization like this with 50 clinics, if someone has a small audience, we're not going to do that podcast. It's a waste of our time. But you actually reciprocated and said, yes, I would love to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And you went on and you did the podcast with her because it's all about spreading the message.
That's right.
Man, it's happening all over. People wanting to do a podcast with you,
Yeah.
and you are just in love with the idea. I don't care the size of your audience. I just want to tell the story.
If you have 5 people that follow you on a podcast, I'll do it.
Yes.
Do you know why? Because once again, it takes one person to make a change, and I'm happy.
Yes.
I speak to thousands and thousands of people in the crowd and stuff like that, and I'll speak to a crowd of 1,000, and a crowd of 5 to the exact same intensity and the
Yes.
exact same thing, because my message isn't dependent on who shows up. It's dependent on the individual that shows up.
Yes.
It's not based on a number.
Because you never know. Inside of that one group, of whether there's 5 or 10, you could find that one person that is a major influencer that could go out and begin to tell the story, and it will spread like wildfire.
Yeah, and I'm also looking for the mom, for
Yes.
example, that will actually listen to that information and actually grow up a healthy child, make a husband healthier, have less bills for healthcare, be able to live an enjoyable life that way. And once again, and if I know that our Wellness Way company has had an impact that way, man, that's what I said. So if you guys have podcasts that way, I'm not joking. It was kind of funny
Reach
because I'm
out
like,
to
going,
us.
yeah, reach out because I will do it. You
Yeah,
saying? Because
absolutely.
I absolutely love it that way. So it's like,
Hey, ladies and gentlemen.
sure. Look at my sweetie.
Yeah! Well, ladies and gentlemen, you get to see this live surprise, totally unexpected. As you can see the response.
You're all fired. You're all fired.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear
Patrick Dodd.
Happy birthday to you.
I don't have a hat. You know what I'm saying? Oh, thank you.
Well, that's a beautiful thing, ladies and gentlemen. So, for Rizil,
Yes. Yes, that's even better.
if only, right? You can shut me up.
Well, thank you, everybody. That was.
Check it out.
Wait, what's the shirts? I'm like, everybody has a shirt now.
All you're saying.
All your sayings.
Oh my goodness. I was like, there's a good-looking guy in that shirt.
This man has been more concerned about his own birthday over the last month.
He
And he's-
called Happy Belly.
He called Happy
I didn't call
Bellies
Happy Bellies. I
just
was there
to see if there
myself.
was a cake being ordered, and he was like, "Well, tomorrow I get to sell." We're all packing up. We're out of here. It's Traverse City. So the team did a great job of keeping this on the down low. And yeah, look at you, completely shocked and surprised.
I am surprised.
Yes.
I can say that. So thank you.
Speechless.
Speechless. Yes. Yes. Emotionally moved.
Emotionally moved.
I love you guys.
Love you
know
too,
that.
man. Absolutely. I
So-
think that with that, I think that's how we should end the show. We've got great things coming up tomorrow. The team's getting all ready this afternoon. We pack up, and tomorrow morning we get a trailer loaded with all this equipment, everything going around us, and everybody packs up to head out to go have an amazing event And this team's doing a great job just cranking it out on all levels. And today we get to love on you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
With that, ladies and gentlemen, we are super excited. We will be live from the golf.
Made the baby
We will
cry.
be live from Treetops Golf Course just for a little bit next week because we will be golfing with all the docs from the Wellness Way, and we'll be back in the studio 2 weeks from now. Thank you for joining us, everybody. We'll see you in 2 weeks from this studio right here.